Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at Fairy Tale 483. Apologies about the lighting, it is actually quite light outside still at this point. Summer is here, right? And I kind of look like a ghost, or I'm being abducted by aliens, but bear with us. Technical difficulties beyond my control at this moment in time. Anyway, the chapter itself was an interesting chapter. There's a few things that I'll probably address. What we're looking to do is really summarize the chapter, because you could say this was a two-part chapter. There's two main components of it, really. So I want to address those. There's an elephant in the room that I'm sure people want to discuss as well, or even just talk about, really, to do with the Spriggan 12 in general. And we'll discuss all of that in the chapter review. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, let's just summarise the chapter first of all. So the chapter is basically two things. It's the battles that's going on the port, on the south, between members of Fairy Tale, remnants of the other crews, Nine Hearts, against Nine Heart, and his magic, his Historia magic. And then there's a whole section at the end to do with Eileen or Irene, depending on the translation you're looking at. So let's just focus on the first half of that, which is to do with the battle versus Nine Heart. Nine Heart, for the most part, really, although he's magically meant to be superior, is a type of character that isn't really physical based. He's not a hand-to-hand combat kind of dude. He's very a Mr. Mindfuckery. He's all about doing the whole Inception thing with your brain. With the Holy Story thing, it's more about preying on your phobias and your history and your trauma than anything else. I guess for most people that would be a really tough situation to be in, to kind of overcome your past again when it caused you so much trauma. The weakness with such a type of magic is quite evident in this chapter, is because at this point in the story, because of a lot of this character development, they've been able to overcome and grow past these issues a long time ago, and it's really evident in this chapter. But what this also does, this first half of the chapter, is really highlight different forms of bonds and kind of a foreshadow of things to come. So let me talk about the good things that I liked about this chapter. So let's talk about the first half and what I liked about that. Jalal's chariot attack, his heavenly chariot, his god chariot, his 7 stars chariot attack was boss. It was badass. I honestly think at this moment in time, had he landed that move on in the Diameter Embu, the magic games, he would have beaten his opponent. This the fifth wizardly sane dude would be done. The amount of power that this generated literally blew him away. So magic to magic, the guy, that spell is something else. That's the first thing. What I liked is the fact that Kagura overcome the grudge for him at the end of last chapter, and that helped him win, because he, in his desperation, Nineheart used the whole "you killed Shimon" type of thing, you kill Simon, and that's literally what that was about. So that was cool that we've dealt with him now. What I'd liked about him originally was his design. Originally, when he was sat at the back of the ship in the shadows, and he looked quite menacing. When he actually came out, I wasn't too much of a fan of him. He reminded me of someone, and for the I just couldn't think about who it was. And then I would remember, in the 7 Deadly Sins, there's a knight called Hauser. He reminded me of Hauser, basically, and he also reminded me of that character in the filler arc about the clock. That character from there. So that's what he reminded me of. Going past that now, about all the other things that were kind of cool. The whole Meredy and Juvia linking, the joining of that magic was cool, because it basically was a magic amplification technique. But in essence as well, it was a type of unison raid. Although it wasn't officially confirming that the melding of their magic really was like a unison raid in a way. What this did is, because Juvia was with Meredy, it allowed Leon and Grey to have their moment and their steps to overcome Ur. Now again, like I mentioned in the previous chapter, this showed the development that Grey has had. He's not the same person that was originally with Leon way back when and overcoming Ur. And he admitted, he goes, yes, it was my fault and my fault only. I'm the reason why Ur died. I get that, but I moved past that now. And this really showed, because their first technique, the ice geyser ass volcano, doesn't work. But then when he started using his new techniques, it was a different story. This one of these things that this whole section really kind of showed was the idea of the evolution of their magic. The Wendy and Sharala part was cool because Sharala really now embodies how happy it is for Natsu more clearly now, because she said, when you've got no legs, I will be your legs, I will be your wings. He will be that support that Wendy needed, and the attack showed because she let loose, she took out her enemy. That was brilliant. I always like when Wendy gets time to shine, and this was a moment of her shining. It was really a showcase of magic. And then, you know, you get the whole Laxus with Hades thing. The Laxus with the pure heat of Hades thing, for me, was kind of a foreshadow of potentially him becoming the guild master, because he was putting away the masters of the past. I know that Erza is meant to be the current guild master, but I could honestly see after her, it becomes the Laxus kind of mission, you know, to do that. If after that Natsu takes over, that's a different story, but at present that. One thing was evident at the beginning, which really brought back at the end, was the whole thing about Eileen, because even in this chapter he's like, oh, she can't be Eileen's or Irene's. Then we get to it in the second half of the chapter. So this conversation going on about Natsu wanting to fight against August being the strongest member of the Spriggan 12 and everything else. What I liked was Brandish playing her part. We don't know information about the Spriggan 12, so only insider would be able to give that information. And that person was Lady Brandish, and she said, look, there's a misunderstanding. August is the strongest male. If that's the case, Eileen or Irene is the strongest female. So I'll just see if I can get her full name up, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Eileen Belserion. She looks remarkably like Erza. She's known as a Scarlet Plague, I think it is, or the Scarlet Witch, something to do with red, right? And we've known Erza Scarlet to basically be the red-headed demon. So what is her potential link? It could be a couple of things. She could basically be Erza's sister, she could be her aunt, she could be her mother. Going crazier than that, she could be her twin, and basically they're part of one. Could you imagine that her power was separated, and basically they can come together, and this is going to give Erza the boost potentially. So really wide theory out there, but hey, that's just me. I like to go out there and really get those weird theories out there. So an interesting point to bear in mind. Now, the elephant in the room for a lot of people is to do with the Spriggan 12 in general. The thought is these lot are meant to be the strongest of Alvarez. These lot are meant to be like 12 armies practically by themselves. So why is it that they're so easily being taken out? Honestly, what I think in regards to that, other than the whole thing with God Serena being taken out by Aknologu, who's meant to be the final boss, in my opinion, unless something crazy happens that we've not been aware of, and Zeref, right? They're meant to be the main bosses, but if you look at everybody else, you could see there's some type of hierarchy between the 12. They can't all be equally strong. They'll be strong in their own ways, but ultimately there's got to be an idea of some are stronger than others. I honestly think the people that we've been taking care of have basically been the lower end of the spectrum. If you think about those who are left, you've got August, you've got Irene. August is strong male, strongest female. We don't even know what Invel is capable of at this moment in time. We have Lady Brandish and this crazy guy called Bradman, who basically crucified Sabretooth. Let that settle in. That isn't an easy feat, and I know people have been jumping down the throats of these Sabretooth members because they were made out to be so much strong, and they're not. They are decently competent. They're not weak. So for someone to be destroying them like that shows that these now are the upper echelon. The problem you're going to find is it's going to be even more of a struggle now, bearing in mind we've gone through everybody else. So of the 12, they've realistically taken care of 7. Not all of them, obviously, with the whole gods or anything, but realistically that's what's left. Brandish is always she's not really going to be taking part. There's a good chance there's going to be something similar to that with Eileen, Irene, whichever way you want to call her. Bradman's going to be interesting. Invul, I have no idea, and we never know what's going to happen with August. So it's still going to be an interesting set of chapters to come to see how this is going. I honestly can't wait to see what happens. I'm not disappointed because I understand there's something more to this. It's not about the idea of who's the most powerful, it's about finding the way to win. Sometimes a bit of strategy and a bit of courage can help you overcome situations where you're in a losing situation. You see it all the time with combat sports, situations where there's an underdog, and sometimes the underdogs come on top. I wish I knew in advance I can put a bet on it and make some money, but that's a different story altogether. In any case, I think that is the message. The message isn't about who's the most powerful, it's about who's the person that can really manipulate their power in the right way to overcome tougher objects, tougher situations, roadblocks in life. And it really is a message there, other than yeah I'm stronger than you, I'm going to win the fight. It's not always the case. Sometimes strategy, a bit of willpower can help you out. In any case, that's enough of me babbling. It's long enough review as it is. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. Chariot was amazing. Well, let's see what Eileen or Irene can do. Let's see what this link is about. Will my theory come true? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see to find out. In any case, thanks for your time today. I hope you watched the end of this review and like bits of it. If anything I mentioned that you thought was kind of cool, out there, or interesting, give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below. And to continue getting these kind of reviews and information, please subscribe if you haven't done already. I'm on 51 subscribers. I want to work towards 1,000 by the end of the year, and to get to 100 by June. I can only do that with your support, so please continue to support me. If you enjoy it, share it with your friends. Let's build a community here and let's really get the conversation going. As always, take it easy. See you next time. Peace.